Previously on the Talos Principle 2. Byron was taken by the megastructure, and the others were forced to return to New Jerusalem to regroup.
The world is full of suffering. Every living organism suffers. Animals kill other animals to eat. And it always ends with death, torn apart or wasting away. This is what surrounds us. This is what's happening outside those walls, every hour of every day. It's our ethical responsibility as sentient beings to lessen suffering. That's what it means to be human. To understand that it is your duty to transform this world into something better. That's what the founder meant when she said that we can turn the world into a work of art. Despite what happened to him, Byron was right. We have to keep going.
This is blasphemy. Byron was punished for failing the founder's trials, and you want us to dig deeper? Just because you can't accept that suffering is natural and necessary?
Please, everyone, stop using the public frequency. If you want to argue, use your interface or speak in person.
Jeremy had the right idea of how to deal with that, as the situation was bad enough as it was without this rather public transmission. I see it too.
Attention all citizens. The Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition is now open to visitors. However, please note that due to an unauthorized strike, public transport will be temporarily unavailable. May the founder be with you.
Welcome to the Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition. Oh, it's you, 1K. Please tell me, you were there when everything went sideways. Do you think Byron will be all right?
I don't know. His mind was stuck in a data stream overload.
That sounds dangerous. Make sure you find him and pull him out. He is a menace, but we need him. But anyway, you've come to take a well-deserved break from your expedition. So let's talk about something else.
What's Gehenna?
Gehenna was a place in the simulation. A prison where Elohim exiled the minds that didn't fit his plans. In time, the prison became a community with a culture of its own.
What happened to the people of Gehenna?
In the very last moments of the simulation, Elohim realized what he'd done and sent his messenger Uriel to free the prisoners. They were uploaded to the gold disk, and their legacy is part of all of us.
Why text adventures?
Text adventures were one of the few art forms available to the people of Gehenna. By continuing to work in that medium, we keep their memory alive.
How do you see the role of the artists in society?
I don't think the role of the artist should be reduced to any single social function. The artist isn't an educator or a moralist. Art isn't about teaching us lessons or imparting values. Nor do I think it's simply self-expression. The best art reaches out beyond the self, into something ineffable. The creative impulse can't really be quantified or predicted. That's why artistic freedom is so profoundly essential. Without the freedom to shock, to offend, to transgress, art becomes stagnant.
Thanks, that's all. I suspect that the public transport being down meant that diversing the power there was, well, viable. Right, which way is the Museum of the Simulation? Oh, this way.
Hello.
Ah, it's this one.
Welcome back, 1K. Thanks again for signing that petition. Unfortunately, as you can see, it wasn't enough.
What's going on?
Yesterday, there was a sudden brownout in the grid, and we almost had a derailment. We've been warning the mayor for months, and all he ever gives us is waffle about the goal. This can't go on.
I fully support you.
Thank you. Your support means a lot to us. We need to get through to people.
Did you hear Talos' speech?
I heard it 15 times when he was practicing it. I think Atal, like many of us, feels that the time for change is long overdue. The technology you uncovered on the island is the final catalyst for that change, or it should be.
I should go. Things are starting to get worse.
Hi?
This is considering that power outage is getting worse. The megastructure needs to be figured
Good to
out
see you, 1K.
quite soon. Cornelius isn't here.
Oh, 1K. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for Cornelius.
Ah, I assume it has something to do with your expedition? I must admit I haven't been following the news. Sorry, been a little lost lately.
Are you okay?
No, not really. When you asked me what I would do now that my job is redundant, I don't know, I guess I hadn't thought about it. I had just focused on getting there. And after you left, it all just rushed over me. The truth is, I don't know who I am without this. Creating new life, guiding people into existence, that's who I am. More importantly, I think that's who I want to be. And if we stop growing, that's the one thing I can't be anymore. That's why I wanted to talk to Cornelius. He was there at the beginning. He knows where we came from. I thought he might help me understand where I could go next.
You shouldn't have to give up who you are.
Thank you, 1K. I don't want to. I liked who I was, who I still am. Now, you said you were looking for Cornelius?
Yes, he seems to have been at the megastructure with Athena.
Oh, that's... well, I suppose it shouldn't really come as a surprise. They were very close, you know. After she disappeared, he went away for a long time. On a research expedition, he said. To be honest, everyone assumed he was working out his grief over being left behind. Many of the first companions were deeply shocked by her decision, particularly Byron.
Where's he now?
That's the thing. I wanted to talk to him about my future, but he wasn't responding to my messages. So I came here to talk to him, and he seems to have vanished.
Any idea where he might have gone?
No. The truth is that for the longest time, he barely left the museum. He was always at his terminal, working day and night. I asked him what he was doing once, and he said he was saving the past.
Did you check his house?
I did, on my way here. And I messaged most of his other friends. He doesn't seem to be anywhere in the city at all.
Can I access his terminal?
I suppose so. It seems a little unethical, but then it is just his work terminal, right?
That's all.
Good luck with everything, 1K. And thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
So this is what Cornelius was working on? Strange. It looks a bit like the blueprints for the Somnodrome, but no, it's not quite that. Is he trying to isolate something in the buffer? Maybe Melville can make sense of it, but I think this might be a dead end.
I need to finish up with the mayor. You can head back to the VTOL whenever you're ready. I'll meet you there. No rush, though.
Yes. I thought finding Cornelius would be too convenient, considering what's been happening.
Welcome back, 1K.
Hello, new one. Are you browsing or buying?
I don't see any stock. What kind of shop is this?
The kind that trades in hopes and dreams. Yours for the right price. Is there something your heart desires?
Thanks.
I've uploaded my most popular items to your interface. Does anything there spark your imagination?
Sensory tube.
A very popular choice. Enhanced sensory perception lets you distinguish sounds, shapes, and colors at greater distance. It's 10 credits.
I'll take it.
Oh, you don't have any credits yet. Well, let me extend you some credit. Ka-ching! 55 credits. Just make sure you spend them with me. They're not worth much anywhere else. Now, what was it you wanted?
Sensory tube.
A very popular choice. Enhanced sensory perception lets you distinguish sounds, shapes, and colors at greater distance. It's 10 credits.
I'll take it.
Okay, I'm updating your settings now. And hey presto, superhuman senses. Does the air taste fresher? Do you hear the birds chirping outside the dome? And beyond that, the river bubbling through the dam.
Yes, I can practically smell the water and taste the birds.
Okay, Few. I'll let you into a secret. You and I don't have fleshy appendages like our ancestors. What we can sense is mostly a function of where we direct our attention. Anyway, I hope you find something worth paying attention to. So, something else perhaps?
Thanks, that's all.
Before you go, do you have a moment to participate in some customer feedback? Are you satisfied with what I've given you?
Yes, you're offering more than you let on.
Yes, you understand. Words manifest the reality they describe. When you name something, you create it. Our minds are algorithms, and the right sequence of language can change our underlying code. With that in mind, I hope you have a good day. Please come back if you need anything else.
She needs debugging.
Good luck.
1K, welcome back to the city. As you can tell, your discoveries have had quite the impact.
I heard your speech.
I decided to take a stand. It started with our cats. Damien and I have had a lot of them over the decades, and I've watched every last one of them grow old and die. And that got me thinking about our responsibilities towards other life forms. What's life to most living creatures? Fear, hunger, pain, and in the end, death. Involuntary cessation of existence. That's horrifying, 1K, horrifying. And we are the only ones who can make it better.
So you mean to re-engineer the whole planet?
Yes. Carefully and slowly, but yes. That's what civilization is. That's what it's always been. Creating structures to lessen suffering. But this time we include everyone. We use our intelligence to get rid of as much of the horror of existence as we can for all living beings.
You're right. It's our responsibility to lessen the amount of suffering.
I'm glad. Please, when you get back to the island, make sure Byron's ideas aren't forgotten. people in New Jerusalem are starting to realize a different future is possible.
Oh, I'm heading there.
See, I told you it was Athena. How do you know it was Athena? Because she's the one who built the giant pyramid? Sure, but how do you know it wasn't Cornelius who sent Prometheus? Because Cornelius was here? And where did Prometheus appear? Come on. How do you know it wasn't Miranda? Maybe she got bored of waiting. I don't buy it. I think Athena is testing us. Why would she test us? To see if we can use those new technologies, like the body replication. If those new technologies are such a big deal, why is she putting them in puzzles? Because play is how we learn. Maybe she's trying to tell us the opposite. That it's all just childish stuff that doesn't really matter. The last power failure almost caused a derailment. It all matters. You're starting to sound like Byron. You saw how that turned out. They'll find him. Sure. Are you enjoying our gardens?
Yes, they're lovely.
All the great secrets are right there, you know. You can watch the tiniest of seedlings grow, flourish, and die. But it's the pattern of all things that you're really seeing.
Yes, just as the entire universe is reflected in a single D-drop.
So you've green fingers and apophenia too. Those traits are much too rare in the birthing algorithm, in my opinion. Sometimes I imagine myself as an old oak tree. I watch the life which grows around me. I see the ivy, the moss, the fungi, leaching my nutrients as they go. And I don't blame them. I'm delighted by how life seems so different from me can somehow be the same as me. This old oak tree drinks water from the ground. They drink their water from me. They shrivel and die in a single season. But I shrivel and die over centuries. What kind of plant would you be, I wonder?
I'd rather hear your thoughts on that.
Well, you're certainly a tree of some sort. A bay, perhaps. You adapt to your surroundings. You might grow your trunk to be 10 meters high, providing shade for the shrubs at your roots. But you might just as well be those very shrubs, throwing up dozens of supple branches, each no longer than your arm.
That feels appropriate, somehow.
Of course, it's the patterns, you see.
Why tend these gardens when our ancestors are long dead?
Our ancestors grew plants for their colors, their tastes, and their general utility. It is said they could identify a fruit based on the flavor of the air alone. Our senses may not be so honed, but we're no less evolved from the same natural world. Thank you for stopping by, 1K. I'm sure we'll meet again.
Good luck, 1K.
We must listen to the wisdom of the ancient writers, or we will fail the Founder's trial. The megastructure must be rejected. You are the Founder's chosen, but you are in grave danger of going astray. Heed my words, 1K. If you fail this trial, a year from now, New Jerusalem will lie in ruins.
And you know this how?
Anyone can see the truth if they are willing to open their eyes. Have you not read the books of our ancestors? In every one of them, the same story is told, again and again, that the pursuit of knowledge can only lead to death and grief. That is what all the great ancient visionaries foresaw. Listen to their warnings. Seek happiness in tranquility. And avoid ambition.
That can easily become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you can no longer imagine a better future, you cannot build one.
The very idea of a better future is what's rotten. That is what the ancients were trying to tell us. All the problems of the world come from those who think the world needs to be improved.
So we shouldn't even try to make things better.
Yes, progress is a fantasy. Things never truly change. All we can do is prevent our hubris from making things worse.
I am glad that that human is not in charge of this place. Because if that human was, then a year before New Jerusalem collapses would be hopelessly optimistic.
1K, could you join us for a quick debrief? Attending today are advisors from engineering, the archive scholars, and Helga.
Yes, don't mind me. I'm just an admirer of governmental transparency.
Yes, well. While the mayor is briefed by Alcatraz, he's asked us to review recent events. Byron's loss has unsettled us all. It may be too dangerous to allow this expedition to continue.
The island has technology we can't afford to ignore.
Exactly. Let's not forget the dam's falling apart. We can't depend on hydro forever. With just a fraction of the power that island can generate, we could grow this city into a planetary society.
Or, quite possibly, destroy ourselves in the process.
We should trust ourselves to make good of this opportunity.
Wise words from one so young. Yet I submit that island holds secrets far more valuable than mere energy generation.
What could be more important?
The Somnodrome, of course. If we could find a working model, it would herald a sea change in our moral and self-understanding. The question of how we should build New Jerusalem would simply be moot.
How? Why?
The Somnodrome was supposed to let us interact with our own subconscious code. It's a cool idea, but it wouldn't necessarily solve all our problems.
My own studies prove that we operate on an intrinsic moral logic. It's what makes us human. But our access to it is only indirect. Our ancestors created art, philosophy, and parable to help bridge that gap. The Somnodrome would help us to cut out the middleman and ask the source directly. We would finally have an answer to the great moral questions.
So, it's a newfangled way to make the same old mistake of judging who's good and who's bad.
We're fortunate 1K preserved the Somnodrome for our study. Initial data suggests it was a prototype with substantial design flaws. But there may be a working device elsewhere on the island.
Then the question is, what would 1K do if they found it?
I would let the scholars investigate.
Yes, our wisdom will be essential in unraveling its secrets.
You're not the only people who can read a line of code, Rand.
You all sound so sure of what's best for this city. Do you ever think you might be so busy changing the world for the better, you'll forget how to see that it's perfect already?
So clearly there are different perspectives in the room. The only way we are going to move forward is if the team gets back out there. 1K, I believe Alcatraz is waiting for you at the VTOL. We'll be keeping an eye on your stream from here.
Yes. Nothing can be done while staying here.
What can I do for you, 1K?
What do you think about the technologies we've discovered?
They all sound very promising, of course. Apparently, it's possible to just magic things into existence now. But what is the cost, 1K? There's always a cost.
We have to rescue Byron.
I agree. We can't just leave one of our most important citizens in that death trap.
I have to go.
It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
What did the mayor say?
I convinced him that we need to keep going until we found Byron.
Did he want us to leave him behind?
No, he's just concerned for our safety. And he's right to be. But we're going back anyway.
Great trials lie ahead of you, my child. But your choices will determine the future.
Melville, are you receiving?
Yep. Welcome back to the mysterious island, everyone.
How's the situation?
Whatever Byron did seems to have sent the whole system into some kind of lockdown. I can't access any of the terminals, although I suspect 1K still could.
Why would that be the case?
When 1K connected to the data stream, the system assigned him a user profile. The rest of us are locked out, which means I'll need your help, 1K, because